Just to recap, we're working in grayscale mode, which is designed to handle images with no color information. The grayscale mode essentially stores only the brightness, or what's sometimes referred to as luminance, in a single channel. And this conversion models the way the human eye perceives brightness in a scene. So I'm going to go up to my image mode and go to Duotone. And it will automatically bring up the previous duotone that I worked on. This is actually a really good example to start with because it demonstrates that duotones are traditionally made up of two contrasting colors. Now the contrast can be in the colors themselves, so complementary colors. You can look at, imagine the color wheel, and you can work with colors opposite each other on the color wheel, or you could work with colors next to each other on the color wheel. They should have contrast in something though. If it's not hue, then it should be value. Or if it's hue, then it might not need to be value. So, for example, the blue and green are cool colors, but you can see when I click on the color picker, this is a fully saturated blue. You go from white to full saturation, that's pretty much full saturation. If I click on the green, you'll see that it's a lighter value. It's not full saturation. So the lighter I go, you can see the more blue it is. So in order to create enough contrast, then you need to have a little bit of the hue. But the beauty behind a duotone, remember, is that you typically replace the darks with one color and the lights with another. And when you do that, then you can see there's sufficient contrast, and those middle values become full of texture and are quite distinctive in the graphic. I'm going to just go to the reset button. So if you go up to the cancel button and you hit the Option or the Alt key, you can reset. And when I do that, it goes back to the default mode. And this may be what you'd find if you've never made a duotone before. Under the type, you can go select duotone. So a monotone has one color, a duotone gives you two opportunities to have color. So then I can go pick my colors. Also, there's up here in the presets, there's some really nice preset options that you can explore, and gives you an idea how it works. The black and one color, you can't go wrong with that. So I'm going to reset that, and I'm going to go back to duotone, and I'm going to introduce a blue. I might just try to recreate what I did before. Hit OK. And it's a good idea to name your colors because you have to anyways. And then I'm going to go and find my green, and this is where I got a little bit of a slight tint. And then you can go to your curves, and you might be able to coax out a little more contrast that way just by upping the curve a bit, and maybe a little more contrast there. It can be very subtle. And there's a duotone. So remember, you're just trying to coax out the mid values and get that beautiful texture. That's really what makes a duotone special, is these kind of velvety textures that have a lot of detail in them. And I still have my value range with my whites, and I have got the darker grays underneath, but there's still some detail. I can still make out the leaf shapes, which I really like. I'll hit OK. Oh, all ink names must be specified. Yeah, forgot to do that in green. Hit OK. And then when I look back in my layers here, I turn off my layer adjustments and see what I have. And I end up liking the extra curves adjustment. And you can still go and tweak your duotone. If you want to work with getting a little more contrast, then you can certainly work with the grayscale mode layer adjustments, your brightness, contrast, your levels, your curves, and your exposure. Once you're happy with that, I would do a save as, and I'm going to call this duotone. And remember to save each of the images, save them as a PSD, And then you can go in your Save As menu, you can do a copy, go down to Export, and I can actually save a web formatted image in my Save for Web Legacy. So I could either save a JPEG or I could do a PNG. That's a PNG 8-bit. There's a PNG 24-bit. It's a little higher quality, so you can see the file size is larger. Yeah, just note that. And the reason why the JPEG is more economical is because it's applying more compression. And then the 24-bit PNG is even a little more information, so the file gets a little bit larger. But that's still a pretty good file size, 2.43, depending on what you're using it for. And the nice thing about your 4UP here is I can customize each window. So here I've got a PNG, and that is at 2.43 megabytes. Down here I've got a JPEG at 2.54K, and then I've got my most economical JPEG at 151K. And so it gives you a final output. I'm going to keep the 24-bit PNG, and I'm going to do that as a save. And that's going to give me my PNG file, and I do a save. And I'm going to actually go and open that all by itself. There's my PNG. Yeah, my nice final image.